someone will just gonna come and knock on your wedding day itself, like, excuse me, like, where's your
legality?
Legality. Ruben gave a very tight timeline. It was like 6 months after he proposed. He said he wanna get married by like 6 months. I'm like, are you sure, sir?
So, Iven, I have a very important final question to ask you about this whole process. Was it worth it? Hey guys, and welcome to our first episode of this brand new podcast by Roundtable Media. And we are so excited to have you here today. So before we begin, I want to introduce myself. My name is Ruben, and I am the founder here at Roundtable Media. And this podcast is going to be really, really special because it's going to be something that we've been working on for quite a while. Actually, I think 1 year in the making. We spoke so much about it, of when we're going to do it. We had so many plans about it, and then we just stopped. And so we are so glad to finally bring it to you. And this is going to be called Married to Malaysians. And why is it going to be called Married to Malaysians? Well, you're going to know really, really soon, because let me introduce our first guest for our first ever episode, Mawaf. And yeah, so wife, why don't you introduce yourself to the camera and explain to them who you are?
Hi, my name is Iven, and I'm studio manager in Roundtable Media. But today is a little bit different because I guess I'm a guest here today with my husband Ruben, and we're gonna talk about like our experience as a foreigner, me as a foreigner that married to Malaysian, which is Ruben.
Yeah, so in case you guys haven't figured out by now, this podcast is going to be where we explore international couples living here in Malaysia and how they navigate certain things, living here in Malaysia, raising up family here in Malaysia, just trying to get by here in Malaysia, and maybe even not in Malaysia, because this is about married to Malaysians, right? We could even be talking to Malaysians overseas, right? Who are having this international relationship as well. And yeah, the reason why we came up with this idea for our podcast was actually during our entire journey of getting married, there were so many questions for so many different couples as well, couple friends of ours, even people reaching out on social media on how do you guys do this? How do you guys do that? And we thought, why don't we just condense it all into a podcast to make it so much easier and simpler for everybody? So if anybody asks us in the future, how do you do this? We'll just point them to an episode, and hopefully that solves all the problems. But yeah, we hope to have different guests over time, inviting more than just the two of us, because I think hearing from just us is going to be very, very boring after a while. We want to introduce more people throughout talk to them about their journey, talk to them about their plans and their relationship in general. So yeah, why don't we kickstart with a question for you, Iven. So do you ever think you're going to be married to a Malaysian?
Well, it's not something that impossible, because actually before I got married here, I came here to study, and then after that I started working, and that's where I met you as well. So I think it's really something like it's possible. Yeah.
So in case you guys didn't know, picked up by the accent by now, Iven is actually from?
Can you guys tell? I think only Ruben said that I don't have the Malaysian accents. Well, I'm from Indonesia, so I actually have a full name, Iven Kawenda. I can't really say that it's like a very Indonesian name as well. I don't know. Will you say that it's a very Indonesian name?
No, I think a lot of people think you're Japanese or something.
Or African.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yes. Stop.
When you mentioned that, getting married to a Malaysian was an option on your table, right? Yeah. What made you, or what were the challenges that you faced while you were considering this? I pretend I'm not here.
I think the same thing that if you guys just go like abroad somewhere, right, and not knowing like what happened, what's the long term in the future, is something that I actually thought of, like the rules in Malaysia. Do I still like get to be like I think a citizenship as a citizen in Indonesia, something like that? So I think mostly like the rules, and also like kind of like probably like a lifestyle, even though we know that in Malaysia in Malaysia and Indonesia there's like not so much different, right? Yeah, so something like that.
So we've been married for 2 years now, 2-ish years. It's been great. It's been 2 years since we've been married. I think we want to actually focus the beginning of this podcast more on the beginning of that marriage journey. So why don't you share a little bit about how it all happened and what was the timeline like?
I think first of all that the things that is slightly different here in Malaysia is like there's actually things called like a registration of marriage. And in Indonesia, most of the time that people have their own ceremony and registration of marriage at the same day, which like what we did is slightly different. We had our registration of marriage first, and then after that our ceremony. And I think that's like also explain why, because like in Malaysia, not all religious leader can actually like also like officiate you.
You must have a marriage license before you can officiate anything. So maybe we can focus on to the ROM, the registration of marriage. Why don't you share with us as much as you can remember from 2 years ago? What was the journey like? Like maybe start from the very beginning of when we first tried to apply.
So what happened is we actually chose our ceremony date first, which like Ruben gave a very tight timeline. It was like 6 months after he proposed. He said he want to get married by like 6 months. I'm like, are you sure, sir? Like I don't even know how's like the ROM works. And I don't even know like if we actually can do ROM first before ceremony, because apparently they say that you can't do ceremony first and then ROM first. I think like someone will just gonna come and knock on your wedding day itself, like, excuse me, like where's your like,
legality.
Legality, right? Something like that. So what happened is I think in that like 2 months we had to go back and forth to Indonesia for me to actually collect some documents to bring back here.
And I needed to go and get some documents for myself as well.
Yeah, for your singleness.
Yeah, so as much as I can remember, I remember us before we began anything is we went to Putrajaya and I got my singlehood status certificate from this person. And apparently what this singlehood status certificate says is that I, Ruben Liu, have not been married at all to anybody here, and I'm therefore single in the eyes of the law. And then Iven had to take that piece of paper and go to her embassy, right?
Yep. Yeah. Have to go my embassy and then actually show this paper. And then actually the same thing that I had to show my singleness as well. But I got it from Indonesia. So I brought it to embassy and then brought it together. And when they gave a recommendation letter for us to get married, then we only went back to JPN, right?
Yeah. So how many times did we go to JPN?
I think 3 times at least.
Yeah.
First is actually to collect like what's the list of the things that you need to come with.
The list of different things that we had to submit, right?
Yeah. And then the second one is actually to submit it, and then the third one is to actually get that recommendation letter. And actually what happens, we had to go to JPM PJ, remember?
Yeah.
From Putrajaya. Yeah.
So the rough thing that we did was, number one, go to JPN Putrajaya because we are international. Therefore, we need to go to Putrajaya first and collect like the list of submission documents. And from that list of submission documents, we had to slowly check out every single thing that we had. It included the singlehood status. It included a letter from her embassy. Also a singlehood status from there as well. And a few other documents lah.
Okay, I think from my side in Indonesia, what I have to do is I have to go to like, they call it RT,
which stands for
RT.
RT pastry?
No, Rukun Tetangga, like the one that govern the area kind of things, to get like this N1, N2, and N4, something like that, to go to the like
foreign affairs.
Foreign affairs, to just get like this letter, then which like I bring to Malaysia. I went to like 3 different offices already there. And then when in Malaysia, we had to go to JPN Putrajaya, get Ruben's singlehood status. I brought it to embassy, and that's total for like 5 different offices.
Yeah, so five
5 different offices. And
then go
after
back to JPN, right?
JPN.
But then we had to collect a few more documents first.
Yeah.
When we went to JPN, they told, you need this chop from somewhere else, and we had to go somewhere else if we didn't Putrajaya to collect this some foreign affairs thing. We had to pay for this chop that was about 40 ringgit, maybe it's more now.
Total 6 officers.
So far 6 officers. So
Yeah.
then only we can go back to JPN.
Putrajaya.
Putrajaya.
Yeah, and you know, like when we like got excited, I was like, yay, finally we got to choose our date. And then we were even like looking at the board where actually like people like the
Put their
couple
faces and
faces
everything,
there.
yeah.
I was like, oh, okay, our face gonna be here, and then we're gonna like get married soon. And then when they gave us the letter, it's the recommendation letter for us to go to JPNPJ.
Yeah, because apparently how it works in Malaysia is that your IC determines where you should register. So my IC is registered to PJ, and so therefore, once we got the approval from JPN Putrajaya to get married, we needed to go to JPN PJ to choose our date. So that even sets the timeline a little bit longer. And even when we go to JPN PJ, there will be a 30-day period in which you have to wait because they need to put our faces up on a board. Many of you guys have been to JPN, any of the JPNs, you will see like a couple's faces always on the board. So anyone who wants to, object to the marriage, they can do so within 30 days. Or is it 20 days? One of those two numbers, right? And then the funny thing is that we could still do it in Putrajaya. But if we want to do it in Putrajaya, we need to go to JPN PJ, get registered there, and get a letter from JPN PJ, and then go back to JPN Putrajaya to get our date.
Yeah.
So that would have postponed everything another 1 month, I think.
Yeah. And some people would like to choose JPN Putrajaya because like apparently it's more aesthetic to take pictures.
It's a little bit more aesthetic.
Yeah. I mean, for us, we don't care already. I think like what I say is like total 7. I think they will be like animated. Ding, 7 here, right?
I don't think so.
Like 7 offices that we have. At least I have to go myself, and I think probably like for us Malaysian, you just need to visit like one JPN and then you can cultivate everything.
Yeah. If you're both Malaysians, apparently also easy actually. If you're both Malaysians from the same state, it'll be easy. But if you're Malaysians of different states, you need to get your JPN letters from each state. Yeah, apparently that's a whole new process. But let's not get carried away with married to Malaysians, right? We are here married to Malaysians for international people, right?
Yes.
But yeah, so that's what, 7 offices, 6, 7?
Yeah.
6, 7, no, okay. A whole crew is like, okay, sorry guys. But yeah, so even I have a very important final question to ask you about this whole process. Was it worth it?
Stay tuned the next episode for the answer. It's still like a long journey to go there, but okay,
Yeah. Okay, so if you don't want to answer the question now, we can answer it later. Now it's going to be a segment called Stirring the Pot. So this is a little segment of ours where we will ask a very controversial question to each other, and then we'll hear our honest answers, or maybe not so honest, I don't know, right? So the question that was selected for this episode is, so Iven, you're from Indonesia, I'm from Malaysia, obviously, and the question that we have is, whose food is better?
Indonesian food. What do you think?
I think we had to end it here, guys. I will give a more convoluted answer. I would say it depends. So the story I like to give to people whenever they ask me what's good about Pekanbaru, where she's from, right? I would say the food is top notch. And that's not to say that Malaysian food isn't better. But I think they do something with... Indonesians know how to make chili good. Yeah. Sambal. Or exactly. So the one thing that I realized when I went to Indonesia was that I finally knew that chili had a taste, right? Before this in Malaysia, I think we have chili padi, right? And everything is just chili padi, right? So everything is just meant to burn your taste buds off, right? Whereas in Indonesia, maybe they have so many varieties of chili, or maybe they just know how to make it better. It just doesn't have... You can actually taste it. There is still a spice. There's still sometimes you need to water your mouth and things like that. But there is a flavor in it. It isn't just pain. So that's where I give Indonesian cuisine a little bit more props, because, you know, I could finally understand that chili had taste because of Indonesia.
I think it's quite controversial that you say that
Really?
Malaysian sambal is only chili padi.
Yeah, it's my hot take, guys. My spicy take. But no, actually, I grew up in Malaysia, right? I ate a ton load of spicy food growing up, and somehow I only tasted chili for the first time in Indonesia. And that's like, what, 3 years ago? 4 years ago? So that says a lot about our type of chili here lah. Either that or not exposed enough to the different type of chilies in Malaysia. I don't know. Do you agree? Not agree?
This is only our first episode. Don't I mean like please don't bash us. But yes.
So that's it for this episode. I hope that hot take is enough to get the comments going and this episode having a little bit more buzz. But yeah, if you like what you hear, next time we'll probably have a different guest. We'll probably change things up a little bit, and hopefully we'll be able to bring in different international couples to bring along this journey with us. And if you have any ideas for topics whatsoever, do let us know in the comments. Reach out to us on our socials. But yeah, until then, this has been Married to Malaysians.